Ever dream of hitting the open road, chasing freedom in a vintage camper van? Follow Colton's unexpected adventure with Maris, a spontaneous neighbor-turned-travel companion, as they leave behind their familiar lives and discover that the journey is just as important as the destination. Hi everyone, I'm Jessica, the storyteller on the Adult Women's Tales channel. Here, I'll share stories about love, conflicts, betrayal, and infidelity within families. These stories offer a deep look into relationships and the challenges families face. Stay tuned and explore with me. If you love emotional stories and want to uncover the hidden secrets in families, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of our videos. Let's jump right into the narrative. Hello, I'm Colton. Yep, just good old Colton. I am 26 years old. I reside in a tranquil, modest town in Oregon. For the last 2 years, I've been working remotely as a graphic designer. It's not flashy, but it covers my expenses, and above all, it allows me to envision my future. For as long as I can recall, my dream has remained unchanged: to hit the road in a camper van and explore America. When I was a child in Ukraine, I would create small drawings of my dream house on wheels. I would attach maps to my bedroom wall, highlight the cities I dreamed of exploring, and envision myself on the road, stopping wherever I pleased, connecting with others, and embracing a life of freedom. It may seem wild now, but that childhood fixation has remained with me. A few months back, I stumbled upon a weathered Dodge B350 van, worn, rusty, and just right. After weeks of hard work, I revamped the interior, adding a cozy bed, ample storage, a camping stove, and even a compact solar panel system. My friends believed I had lost my sanity. I was indifferent. I referred to her as the Voyager. At last, it's really going to take place. This morning, I awoke with a sense of certainty, understanding that this is the moment. I'm heading out. I dedicate countless hours to packing the final items, outfits, my camera, a beloved old coffee mug that's essential, books I may never open, yet I find comfort in having them with me. While I was securing the final bungee cord to my bike rack, a voice caught my attention from behind, heading off somewhere. It was Maris, my next-door neighbor. She appears much younger than her 42 years, long, captivating, gentle curls of deep hair, consistently enhancing her features. I've noticed her presence, occasionally tending to the flowers in her front yard, other times simply lingering on her porch with a glass of wine, gazing up at the sky. Our conversations were minimal, just a simple greeting and farewell. I was aware that she had just experienced a divorce. I was aware that she was living by herself now. I brushed the sweat from my brow and grinned. Absolutely. I'm just on the verge of making it happen. I'm setting off to explore the nation. Her eyes sparkled with excitement. She chuckled, gesturing towards my old van. Indeed, I found it amusing. She may not be conventionally attractive, but she's prepared. Maris approached, intrigued. Wow, that's truly amazing. Few individuals truly pursue their aspirations. I simply shrugged. It certainly took a while. In that moment, without a second thought, I made a joke. If you were around my age, I'd definitely bring you with me. She tilted her head, offered me a knowing half smile, and asked, "What are we waiting for?" I was completely still. It felt as if time had come to a standstill. I looked at her, attempting to discern whether she was being genuine or merely playing with me. Hold on, what? I stumbled over my words. Maris chuckled once more. I truly mean it. There's nothing tying me down here. It's been ages since I've done something spontaneous. If you want me, I'm all in. I massaged the back of my neck, utterly taken by surprise. I never thought someone like her, my stunning and sophisticated older neighbor, would actually want to hop into a van with me and venture off into the unknown. Are you for real? I inquired, likely for the third time. She nodded with conviction. I'm completely serious. I grinned with a hint of unease. All right, go ahead and pack your things. Maris shot me a brief wink before dashing back to her house. I remained frozen, captivated as she vanished into her entrance. Is this truly occurring? Could it be that this reserved woman, who had always appeared so far away, was truly going to be by my side? Approximately half an hour later, she appeared with a compact, tidy suitcase, dressed in casual jeans, sneakers, and a leather jacket. Her eyes glimmered as she approached. "I'm ready," she declared with assurance. I remained silent. As I opened the passenger door, she effortlessly climbed in. I settled into the driver's seat, pulse quickening, with no idea of what was about to unfold, yet understanding that this marked the start of an experience that would be etched in memory forever. With a twist of the key, the engine roared to life, and I stole a glance at her. She flashed a smile my way, then turned her gaze to the window as we merged onto the highway. The path lay broad and inviting ahead of us. There's no strategy in place. All spots are open. Two wanderers in a vintage van pursuing the endless horizon. The initial stretch felt like a dream. I was in disbelief that I was actually going through with this. This moment had been a dream of mine for ages. Here I found myself, driving the Voyager, leaving the town behind, with Maris next to me. She appeared utterly relaxed, reclining in the passenger seat with her legs effortlessly crossed, sunglasses perched on her nose, her wavy dark hair glinting in the sunlight as it danced gently from the open window. I caught fleeting glimpses of her, still partly questioning the reality of it all. The silence felt comfortable. The atmosphere was serene. We were both simply absorbing the moment. At last, Maris broke the silence. "So, what's our first destination?" she inquired, her tone inviting and inquisitive. I smiled broadly. "Let's kick things off with the timeless favorites. Grand Canyon, Monument Valley, perhaps Route 66. What do you think of a flexible plan? We're simply going to stick to the path ahead." She gave a nod of approval. I appreciate that. The Oregon woods gave way to expansive highways. We cruised along undulating hills, expansive fields, and quaint little roadside villages. Maris appeared captivated by everything: the classic gas stations, the enormous billboards, and the quirky roadside attractions. We took a break approximately every hour, occasionally to pick up gas or coffee. Occasionally, we find ourselves wandering around, capturing goofy pictures beside the enormous statues that claim to be the largest in the world. I haven't laughed like that in ages. As night descended on our inaugural day, we arrived at a serene, tucked-away campsite just beyond Reno, Nevada. I positioned the Voyager beneath a group of towering pines. I declared this our shelter for the evening. I anticipated that she would feel uneasy. The Voyager had a certain charm, rugged and homemade, yet it remained fundamentally an old van with a mattress in the back and a curtain for privacy. To my astonishment, Maris beamed with warmth. I'm absolutely thrilled with it. I offered her the bed and intended to sleep in the front seat. The front wasn't really meant for sleeping, but I didn't want her to feel uncomfortable sharing the bed with me. I leaned the driver's seat back as far as it could go, wrapped in a light blanket, and attempted to settle in comfortably. Soft footsteps echoed in the silence. Maris gently rapped on the driver's window. "Are you really taking a nap out here?" she murmured softly. I grinned with drowsy contentment. "Absolutely. I want you to have a bed." She chuckled softly, shaking her head. "You're being absurd, Colton. Sleep well." The following morning, I awoke feeling stiff and sore, with my neck throbbing from the uncomfortable position I had slept in. I stepped out of the van, stretching my limbs, and noticed Maris was already awake, her hair pulled back in a messy ponytail, dressed in comfy sweatpants and a baggy hoodie. She was making coffee on a little camping stove that I had hardly touched before. "Good morning, road warrior," she playfully remarked. I laughed softly and rubbed my eyes. "You've got a knack for keeping things interesting, Maris." We settled into our fold-out chairs, sipping coffee as we took in the beauty of the sunrise. It was serene, tranquil. I understood at that moment that this was more than simply checking destinations off my bucket list. It was all about those little, flawless instances. The subsequent days passed in a whirlwind of activity. The Voyager performed on the roads beyond my expectations. We journeyed along twisting desert roads and passed through quaint towns that seemed to be stuck in a bygone era. Maris and I found ourselves in a comfortable groove. I took the wheel. She skillfully guided the way, studying maps and highlighting amusing signs that popped up along the journey. While I filled up the tank, she picked out some snacks at the gas station. We would belt out classic rock tunes on the radio or simply enjoy a comfortable silence together. During the night, we would find ourselves at secluded campsites or sometimes even at a Walmart parking lot when no other alternatives were available. She consistently took charge of the cooking, preparing straightforward dishes such as grilled cheese sandwiches or pasta with whatever ingredients were available. No hotel rooms available, no reservations made, no concrete plan in place. It was a liberation unlike anything I had ever experienced. One evening, while we cruised through Arizona, the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in vibrant hues of orange and purple behind far-off mesas. Maris reclined her head against the seat and let out a soft sigh. She whispered, "I haven't felt this alive in years." I looked at her, the soft light of the sunset illuminating her skin. Unsure of my words, I simply offered a smile. Later that night, we came to a halt near the edge of Monument Valley. The sky was incredibly clear, making it seem as if we could extend our hands and grasp the stars. We spread a blanket beside the van and gazed up in quiet contemplation. "This is precisely how I envisioned it," I murmured. Maris glanced my way and offered a smile. Likewise. That night, as I reclined in the driver's seat once more, I sensed a change had occurred. This had evolved beyond a simple escapade between two neighbors. Our bond was growing stronger in ways I never anticipated. I drifted off, curious about the adventures that awaited in the next miles. The following morning, I stirred awake to the gentle sound of humming. My neck throbbed once more from dozing off in the driver's seat, yet a smile crept across my face when I noticed Maris preparing breakfast outside the van. I emerged, massaging my shoulders. The refreshing morning air was infused with the aromas of coffee and pine. "Good morning, Colton," she said, flipping pancakes on a small camping griddle. "It's time to stop putting yourself through that discomfort in that chair." I smiled with drowsy contentment. "It's all good. You are the visitor." She lifted an eyebrow. "Colton, it's been more than a week since we hit the road." "I believe we've moved beyond the entire guest phase." I chuckled, yet deep down I knew she was correct. The initial awkwardness had vanished entirely. We had settled into a groove, two individuals from entirely distinct backgrounds effortlessly coming together as the ultimate travel duo. Following breakfast, we loaded our things and set off on our journey. We headed to Yellowstone next. The journey was lengthy, yet stunning. Vast expanses of greenery, sharp-edged summits, and meandering waterways that appeared to stretch endlessly. We paused frequently to capture photos. Maris possessed an unexpectedly keen eye for photography, and I appreciated her excitement for each quirky landmark or viewpoint. We lingered in quietude for hours, at ease, simply observing the road unfold before us. At other moments, we covered a wide range of topics: connections, early years, unsuccessful romances, spontaneous aspirations, melodies, cuisine. The more she opened up, the deeper my admiration grew for her. Maris was more than just beautiful. She possessed intelligence, humor, and an indescribable strength within her. When we arrived at Yellowstone, the darkness had settled in and the chill was palpable. The temperature plummeted quickly, and I noticed Maris shiver as we ventured out to establish our camp. I proposed that we simply sleep in the van tonight. "I'm fine," she asserted, attempting to project strength as she tightened her coat around her. We settled into the Voyager and organized the blankets. I quickly took my place in the driver's seat, just like I did every night. However, this time Maris halted my progress. "Colton," she whispered gently, "the temperature is absolutely frigid outside. Kindly consider being a bit more flexible. Simply share the bed with me. It's sufficiently spacious, and we are grown-ups." I paused. I understood she was correct, yet I hesitated to put her in an awkward position.
She noticed my uncertainty and offered a soft smile. "Your trust means a lot to me." That straightforward statement caught me off guard. I acknowledged and settled into the bed on the other side, maintaining a courteous space between us. The van was shrouded in darkness, with only the soft glow of the moon filtering through the tiny window. We remained quiet for a moment. I gazed at the small ceiling, making an effort to push aside thoughts of her proximity. In the end, I caught her soft voice saying, "Thank you for allowing me to join you. This is something I didn't realize I needed." I glanced in her direction. "You're the ultimate travel partner I could have ever hoped for." The following morning, we were greeted by the chirping of birds and the warm golden sunlight streaming into the van. For the first time since we began, we took our time packing up. After preparing breakfast, we strolled for hours through the geothermal fields of Yellowstone, witnessing geysers burst forth and marveling at bison herds crossing the roads as if they were in charge. Later that day, we trekked to a secluded lake. The water was so calm it resembled glass. In a spontaneous moment, we both tossed aside our shoes and plunged into the frigid water, squealing and giggling at the shock of the cold. Afterward, we sprawled on a flat rock, soaking up the sun to dry off. I observed her gently shut her eyes, her expression serene and at peace. I understood at that moment the extent of the changes that had occurred. What began as a spontaneous adventure between two neighbors was evolving into something far more intricate and profoundly beautiful. While we were leaving Yellowstone that day, I noticed her glancing at me, believing I was unaware. I grinned to myself and continued on my way. That evening, we pulled into a quaint campsite bordering the woods. While we lingered outdoors beneath a canopy of stars, Maris edged nearer. "I understand this began as your aspiration," she remarked, "but it seems like it's become mine as well." I gazed at her, uncertain of how to respond. The atmosphere between us was gentle yet unmistakable. The quiet lingered until she gently leaned her head against my shoulder. We lingered in that moment for what felt like an eternity, two souls adrift in the vast emptiness, slowly coming to the understanding that perhaps, just perhaps, this journey was evolving into something far more significant. As we settled back into the van for the night, the question of who would claim the bed went unspoken. We were both aware. As I rested next to her, just inches away, yet feeling an unparalleled connection, I softly spoke into the night. "I'm grateful you are here." Maris extended her hand, found mine, and gave it a gentle squeeze. "Same here, Colton." That night, we both drifted off to sleep without a hitch. We set off at dawn the following day, the van coming to life beneath a soft pink sky. Something had changed now. We didn't need to say a word. The feeling was mutual. The barriers we constructed around ourselves had silently crumbled. I cast a quick look at Maris while she sifted through a vintage paper map. I inquired, "Sir?" She smiled, her gaze fixed elsewhere. "Absolutely, big, sir." Later that afternoon, we cruised along the rugged cliffs of the Pacific Coast Highway. The Voyager navigates sharp curves, the ocean sprawling endlessly to our right. The ocean surged, pounding the stones beneath.
The briny breeze swept through the ajar windows, tossing Maris's dark hair chaotically about her face. She let out a laugh. I haven't experienced this level of freedom since my teenage days of sneaking out to catch concerts in Portland. I chuckled as well, sneaking a brief look at her. I've never experienced such liberation. Always. We paused at nearly every scenic overlook. Maris was adamant about capturing a photo at each location we visited. Some serious, others utterly absurd. Me acting as if I'm pushing the van off a cliff while she stands proudly on a rock like a victorious ruler of the ocean. We set up camp under the stars, close to a hidden beach. We gathered driftwood to create a cozy fire, enjoyed peanut butter sandwiches, and gazed at the dark water glistening beneath the moonlight. The rhythmic crashing of the waves against the shore was mesmerizing. "I can't believe I nearly skipped this," she murmured softly. I gently tapped her shoulder. Me neither. The upcoming weeks transformed into a whirlwind of excitement. We ventured through Bryce Canyon, strolled along the sandy twists of Antelope Canyon, trekked to concealed waterfalls, and cruised through the vast woodlands of Northern California. Maris infused the van with a vibrancy I hadn't anticipated. She embraced spontaneity while I leaned towards caution. We'd stop by the roadside whenever she spotted wildflowers or an old diner she felt curious about. One afternoon in Colorado, we discovered ourselves parked next to a serene alpine lake, completely alone. The water lay completely undisturbed, mirroring the snow-covered peaks with flawless clarity. "Come on, let's go for a swim," she urged, slipping off her shoes with excitement. "The temperature is extremely low." I chuckled. She simply shrugged. "What's up? Life is a one-time experience." I watched from the shore as she strode boldly into the frigid water. Her laughter rang out as she playfully splashed around, inviting me to join in the fun. I sighed and finally relented. The chill in the air took my breath away, yet her gaze, brimming with playful warmth, made me forget all about the cold. We reclined afterward on the sun-warmed rocks, soaking in the rays as we dried off. Words were unnecessary. I observed the rise and fall of her chest, the way the sunlight played upon her skin. Later that evening, we discovered a quaint mountain town featuring a lone diner where we paused for burgers and milkshakes. The older waitress referred to us as the adorable road trip duo. Maris chuckled gently, and I sensed my heart flutter. That evening, we found ourselves at a secluded viewpoint overlooking the valley, wrapped in a blanket, sipping mediocre gas station wine from paper cups. The discussion took an unforeseen turn towards gravity. Maris admitted that she needed this more than she had understood. Following the divorce, I lost touch with the feeling of excitement for life. I glanced in her direction. "This has become the most incredible journey of my life." She smiled gently. "Same to you, Colton." The moonlight cast an ethereal glow on her features, making them appear almost otherworldly. I instinctively took her hand. She stayed close. Instead, she rested her head on my shoulder. "I made a joke earlier. If you were my age, I would bring you along." I spoke softly. She laughed softly and held my hand with a tender grip. "The greatest thing is, I'm at my age, and I still showed up." I turned and locked eyes with her. At that instant, all the emotions we had kept to ourselves were laid bare. I pressed my lips against hers gently, and she responded in kind. It was done at a comfortable pace. It was not impulsive. It felt effortless, just as it had from the very beginning of our journey together. That night, as we rested next to each other beneath the stars in the van, I sensed that something had shifted for good. This had evolved beyond just the journey. It revolved around us, regarding our transformation. I softly said, "I'm happy you agreed." Maris beamed and leaned her head against my chest. I feel the same way. The soothing sound of crickets, the refreshing mountain breeze, and her calm breaths next to me were the final sensations I recall before drifting off to sleep. The path would still be there come morning, yet I found myself indifferent to its destination. The journey back was a mix of speed and eternity. As the Voyager covered the distance, the thrill of exploration gradually transformed into a serene sense of ease. We had stopped racing. We were simply two individuals entirely content with our situation. Maris reclined in her seat, one leg folded beneath her, gazing at the road ahead. Her hair was casually gathered at the nape of her neck, sunglasses concealing her gaze, a subtle, content smile gracing her lips. We had traveled almost 7,000 miles, 2 months filled with breathtaking mountains, vast deserts, serene beaches, cozy diners, crackling campfires, and an abundance of laughter that I hadn't felt in years. However, the journey was coming to a close. Upon re-entering Oregon, my mind began to wander about what might unfold next. The lingering question had been present in the atmosphere over the past few days. Could we return to simply being neighbors? Could this simply be the recollection of an ideal journey? The sun dipped below the horizon as we cruised down our street. The Voyager groaned as it settled into its usual parking space. I turned off the engine, quiet. Maris fixed her gaze forward for a moment before turning to face me. "Looks like we've arrived home." "Indeed," I replied in a gentle tone. "We exist." She paused. "Should I get my bag?" I took a deep breath. "You certainly could. Alternatively, you might choose to remain." Maris smiled and leaned in, placing her hand gently over mine on the gear shift. "I was really counting on you saying that." We stepped out of the van, lingering uncomfortably for a moment in the dimming light. Her house loomed across the street, shrouded in darkness and silence. Our quaint little cottage, snug yet unadorned, sat just behind us. In silence, we took her little travel suitcase and made our way to my front door. Within, the atmosphere was distinctly altered. The identical mismatched furniture, the same small kitchen and living area, yet now it seemed cozier, richer, as if it had been anticipating this very moment. Maris placed her suitcase beside the couch. I observed her inhale deeply, as though letting go of a burden she had been shouldering. "I believe I prefer it here," she stated plainly. That evening, we got pizza, settled on the floor with slices right from the box, and enjoyed classic films wrapped in a cozy blanket. There wasn't an extensive discussion, nor were there any profound statements. We had no use for them. All that needed to be expressed was captured in our laughter, the effortless way we navigated around one another, and how our hands instinctively sought each other out. The following morning, I stirred awake to the melody of Maris in the kitchen, softly humming while preparing coffee. I entered, wiping the drowsiness from my eyes. She passed me a mug. "Good morning, Rumi," she playfully said. I chuckled. "Is that really what we're going with?" She grinned mischievously. In the coming weeks, we settled into a new routine. There were nights when we spent time at her place, just across the street, but the majority of the time, she was with me. I spruced up my cozy home, incorporating little details to personalize it for us. Fresh curtains, a larger bed, a coat rack by the entrance for her jackets. The Voyager stood parked out front, a proud testament to the beginning of it all. We laughed about bringing it out again just for some grocery runs or a spontaneous weekend getaway. On a sunny Sunday afternoon, we unfolded the large road map we had utilized during our journey and laid it out on the dining table. Maris ran her finger along the route, chuckling at all the wild spots we had visited. I observed her, understanding how effortlessly it came to envision every upcoming journey with her alongside me. "Next on her mind is Montana," she mentioned. I grinned. "Montana seems ideal." She leaned over the map and pressed her lips gently against mine. "I never saw this coming," she whispered. I never saw this coming for us. I admitted the same. However, I wouldn't alter a single detail. We lingered in a cozy quiet, the map laid out before us, the room bathed in sunlight and the gentle ticking of the wall clock filling the air. No further inquiries remained. Leave uncertainty behind. We had transcended the roles of mere neighbors, travel companions, or a fleeting romance that fizzled out post-adventure. We were united, seriously, for the better. The following morning, as I stepped onto the porch with my coffee in hand, I couldn't help but smile at the view of Maris's house across the street. The curtains hung wide, yet the windows remained shrouded in darkness. She lay here, peacefully resting in my bed. I inhaled the fresh Oregon morning air, aware that we would likely be taking the Voyager out again shortly. Not to escape from anything, but simply because we had the opportunity. The vision of the journey remained vibrant, yet I now had a companion to experience it alongside me. The most exciting aspect of everything, I still maintained my independence. I had acquired a partner. While enjoying my coffee and gazing at the van, I quietly said to myself with a smile, "What are we waiting for?" That's it for today's story. If you found it moving, don't forget to share the video with your friends and family. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so leave a comment below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another story. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.